a social media account visit, then we can begin to track, alongside whatever else we have in our ad conversions, what's actually happening. One nice thing that Google AdWords does right now for people who do want people to make phone calls is if people find your ad using a smartphone, there's a call now feature, which is an ad extension that can be put onto an ad. And when people call that number, it's tracked within Google AdWords.
Yep, and Google are hot on these additions that you can add. Because what they enable you to do is get a quality ad up there with the right call to action and the right potential quality score because of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they can then track how they see their ad working and engaging that user. And for Google, that kind of information is priceless.
And Google is the most sophisticated. Of all the opportunities we have to advertise online, Google has been doing it the longest and has the most advanced features. So another thing which is very true of Google, the more times your ad is clicked on, the cheaper your clicks become. Now that takes a bit of time to establish and to maintain, but generally speaking, a good ad campaign gets cheaper every 6 months. The only thing that will change that is a sudden rush of competition, because we have to remember that all PPC campaigns are an auction. So if more people come on board and suddenly want to promote against a keyword, everyone's clicks go up. But because your cost per click goes up relative to everyone else around you, you can do lots of things to ensure that you're as cheap as you possibly can be. And conversion tracking helps you do that. So, over time, that first month, that first bit of data then begins to allow you to look at what data you have and to really focus down on what was really successful for you in month one and what wasn't. And then what we try and do is focus more on what was successful and move that into, we have this kind of alpha-beta split, as we call it, on an AdWords campaign, where in month one we only have a beta campaign and we ask Google to show client ads for combinations of keywords that appear together. And what that does is Google tells us and gives us clicks for all kinds of variations of keywords. And after a month, some of those variations have repeated and have consistently provided good clicks to the client's website. So we move those into their own campaign. And if we do that consistently, then we end up with a new campaign that has keywords that get higher amounts of clicks and good things happen on our side. So what Google does in that sense, because it can acknowledge that new campaign is getting clicked on often and people browsing the web like the ads, get the content they want, the cost per click on those good keywords drops, which is exactly why we wanted all that data from month one. The same thing happens on Facebook, in the sense that what we try and do on Facebook is, instead of having one ad going to 5 to 10 different interests that we think are right for the client, we have numerous ad groups, all of them targeting one specific interest. And that lets us compare the difference in cost per click across those interests and the difference in click-through across those interests as well. So at the end of the first month, we'll end up with some interests that we thought were right for us actually showing that they're very expensive, and other ones that we were unsure about are actually really, really good. All about testing.
Yeah, absolutely. That and to lead into that, to jump in there, I think that's fabulous insights, Phil. What I would add to that is two things, where you talk about A/B testing, the alpha beta campaigns that run, and a 3-month campaign. And the crucial thing that I've just scribbled down there from when you were speaking is that when any kind of small business, certainly small businesses with limited budgets, going into PPC online advertising, the most common thing we hear from people is, it's not worked for us in the past. They've got an account from the past. They don't know anything about it. It's flatter to deceive. And because of that, it's quite obvious that what they've done is a scattergun approach. They've done the wrong keyword research. They've gone after very generic phrases, or they've not done an A/B test. Now, an A/B test to some businesses, they will go, well, hang a minute, why am I doing a B test? Because isn't that just wasting money? No, it's not. Because as we always say, in month one, it's all about the research and getting the right keywords in place. And you would never go forward with any advertising campaign using a keyword that is not a relevant keyword. But what you are doing in that B campaign is working out which ones are optimally relevant for the user's intent when they click. And you can see from all those keywords, if they were to click on two different variations, both are relevant, but one would be even more relevant to them as a customer. And there's amazing insights you can see from Google because of this through your B test and your A/B test. Then you would trigger one into the A, you would move the other into a B, and you would trial again in month 2 and 3 with a B test again. The crucial element that I wanted to add to all of that you said is that for any kind of PPC online advertising campaigns, it must be done over a 3-month period. And in that 3-month period, you can save yourself significant amount of time and heartache, because we can pretty much guarantee that you will have an optimal campaign at the end of that time, because we know it will work. And that's because of this A/B testing. That is my personal professional opinion based on what we can do with keyword research, A/B testing, and running it for a consistent period of time, with bearing in mind a limited budget is in place.
Definitely. I think from what you said there, what we can probably say is that when people say PPC on Google, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it was, didn't work, in reality, what has happened in most circumstances is overall it was too expensive. Mm-hmm. But if they could break down that data and look inside, they would probably see that maybe most of it failed, but something worked. And if they knew what it was that did work, there is the basis to create a campaign that will work long term.
Superb. Absolutely spot on. Yep. Drilling down to the data that did work, because even people that think PPC cost me a fortune, was a waste of time, converted nothing, there will be data in there that is absolutely priceless from your past campaigns that will have something that is legitimately able to convert.
Definitely. That's it.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, that was really fabulous, Phil. Thank you very much. I mean, those insights that you give there are kind of where we see the industry being defined for small businesses, web marketing for small businesses. But it's quite funny, we've not even touched on, really, one of the main hotbed areas that we think people should look to spending web marketing time and budget on, which is Facebook advertising. And we've also not looked at the others, which provide a significant opportunity to get more bang for your buck, which is through Twitter and through LinkedIn. So just to wrap this podcast up, just talk a little bit about how from Google now, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, advertising opportunities exist and where they potentially can be used for small businesses going forward.
Absolutely. Well, they're all interesting in their own way. And in the same way that Google did 10 years ago, they're all now developing their own version of an advertising platform. So Facebook is a big favourite of ours. They've really enhanced their advertising dashboard right now. And where Facebook is unique is it allows us to target people through their life, through their interests, through their life events. And so that opens up all these different possibilities for us in how we want to advertise. What I would say about all of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., is that they are what we would call interruptive advertising. So whereas on Google and Bing, people are searching for a specific thing, they have an intent. So they search for whatever keyword it is they're looking for at that time. And there's a reason behind that in that particular moment they want an answer. When we send an ad to someone on social media, we're kind of interrupting something else that they're doing. So we have to bear that in mind and understand that when we pull that person to a web page, they're a little bit further back than someone who comes from a keyword search. Now, where that person is in the chain, I think is changing all the time. So Facebook can really bring us some great leads. We just have to target it very, very carefully. So one thing that we always try and do is test a number of interests that a person might look to advertise against, and look at which ones are sending people to us, to our website, at a specific time. And sometimes those interests need to be combined with a life event, like maybe they've just become a new parent, maybe they're coming to retirement age, maybe they're coming up to their 50th birthday. All those different things can mean different thought processes for us when we're online. One of the great things about Facebook ads and Twitter ads is that they can be so visual. So if we look at a sponsored post in our Facebook newsfeed, we see this lovely, great position that we occupy. It has an image, it has some words above and below it usually, and it's probably the best looking ad that combines imagery and words that we can have online right now. Costs tend to be much lower than on Google, but as said before, we have to do a little bit more work to convert that person over. If we look at Twitter ads, what's worked for us is we try and find Twitter handles or Twitter accounts that the target market of a specific client might follow. So if they're in a specific area, we might look for the hour account of that area. I tend to join in with Truro Hour over down here in Cornwall. So if we were looking to target businesses in the city of Truro, we could look to show an ad to everybody that follows that particular account. And if we pull together 5 or 6 different Twitter handles that we think are appropriate to a client, we have a nice target market there that we can show ads to. LinkedIn is now beginning to expand its kind of ad opportunities. Traditionally, they were kind of tiny, small keyword ads that appeared in the right-hand side of LinkedIn's kind of pages. But now we can look to sponsor our posts that we put onto LinkedIn. So before you were talking about content marketing, one of the best ways to promote content right now is through LinkedIn sponsored posts. We can put a really nice article in the streams of people that we're looking to reach. So, all of them offer great opportunities, and where Facebook, Google, and Twitter can be very powerful together is through remarketing. All of them allow you to show ads to people on their networks who've previously visited your website. So if we imagine that we had 500 visitors to our site last week, if some of those have Facebook accounts, we can show them an ad in Facebook a week after their first visit. If they have Twitter accounts, we can show them an ad in Twitter a week after their visit to our site. And if they probably have some kind of Google account, most of us do, whether it's Gmail or YouTube or one of their other reasons to use their services, then we can show that person ads for our product in their Gmail account or when they're browsing YouTube or whatever it may be, or alternatively across this huge display network that Google AdWords gives us access to. So all in all, we've done a long podcast already. There's so much we could go through. But I hope we've given people enough food for thought already, if not too much.
No, like you say, this podcast really could go on and on. It could be split into 4 for the different types of online advertising channel you can use. We certainly probably need to do one on Facebook and on Twitter, touching on when you speak about the visual aspect of ads and Facebook being able to target custom audiences brilliantly. For lead generation, a visual ad that can target people based on likes and drill down onto community likes and demographics, I think is priceless, and that's why Facebook is so good for what we see, lead generation. But as you say, you've then got some legwork after that, potentially, because that person has been intruded on in terms of how they were on Facebook in the first place, whereas Google is all about that intent from that search term that they put into the search engine in the first place. But in that regard, as we say, we could go on and on. I think we're both clearly very passionate about it because we see it work day in, day out. And we know for small businesses that have got limited budgets, that is the crucial element. What is going to work quickly without them getting disillusioned or thinking, well, this is all fluff and fanfare. But from my perspective, Phil, I mean, it's been great to listen to you more than having you ask people the questions on these podcasts. So for that, I thank you. Your insights are priceless.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been fun being on the other side as well.
Exactly. Yeah. The grass is sometimes greener on the other side of the fence.
As everyone tells us.
Yeah. Right,
Well,
brilliant.
I think we can maybe round off by saying that we're launching a new website this week, and